Vyas Media Network.
Your Excellency, can we start with this? Can we start the show with this? If that's okay with you? No. Well, this is amazing that we're sitting here in Kathmandu, Nepal, and then we get to go ahead and see your house in Wikipedia.
Yeah, you see, I'm very well known.
Yeah. And do you have still family members back home? Anybody who stays here?
No. So I rent the house.
You rent the house now? Yeah. But when you go back, probably, will you go back to the Red House?
I don't know. I might go back to the Red House because it's very very nice. And you know what is Fribourg is a kind of touristic city, so it's a pedestrian area. And when I lived there, I could see very often tourists, taking the house, taking a picture of the house because it's red brick and it looks so nice, like in a fairy tale, Yeah.
No, that's amazing. First of all, thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for showing us a bit of your city, and we found your home.
Yeah, you see. Thank you. But no, thank you very much for the homework you did in preparing the emission. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about since we touched base about tourism right away. How was it growing up in a city? I'll come to the country in a while. A city which relied on tourism as well for its growth. How was it growing up there?
Well, it was not a major activity, but actually I think what is interesting is that this city is in a region, I said it's the pre-Alps, so meaning that we had quite an activity of winter tourism. And ski and this kind of activities, and now this is questioned because of climate change. So we have to adapt, and I think it's interesting because there you see the structural change where you have some activities that are popping up and others that disappear. So meaning that you have to have different kind of skills developed and the flexibility to start something new. And in this respect, I think that Nepal is a bit in the same situation, but can also learn from what we've been through in Europe, because Nepal can leapfrog and is not obliged to go through all the steps and do the mistakes that we've been doing, but could directly, try to develop sustainable tourism and try not to be too dependent from activities that could be then questioned by by climate change.
Yeah. First of all, I want to go ahead and thank yourself, along with the entire Swiss government, friends from Switzerland, for supporting us in various different projects. I want to go ahead and thank straight at the get-go. And I want to start off by talking about a project which is amazing. 10,000 bridges. And recently we went ahead and inaugurated the 10,000th bridge. And we want to go ahead and show a few pictures of that to get started, if that's okay with you.
Yes, and thank you also for having me.
So go to the next one, switch to the next one. So this is the 10,000th one?
Yes.
Beautiful. Give us a little bit of backstory, Your Excellency, about this project, this specific project.
Yeah. I think it's such an interesting project because it really also shows how the partnership between Nepal and Switzerland evolved over the years. Because it started in the 1960s already. You might have heard the name of Tony Hagen.
Of course.
Yeah. So it's amazing because since I arrived in Nepal, I think every day or every second day somebody mentions the name, and it's so great to notice that. So in the 60s it started as a pure engineering project, where actually you would have the Swiss engineers coming, working on the basis of this recommendation made by Tony Hagen. You have to build trail bridges, and this was the Swiss doing the thing. And then it evolved, it became a kind of community-based project. And then with the adoption of the federal constitution in 2015, we shifted to a different kind of approach where we started supporting the authorities at the 3 level of government, so the local, provincial and federal, to build these bridges, fulfilling their roles and responsibilities according to the constitution. So we really tried to capacitate them to be able to continue building the bridges once the Swiss support would stop. So what was at the beginning a pure infrastructure project became a kind of federal state building project using the trail bridges as a means. But this means is absolutely great because, with the trail bridges, I think it's about 2.5 million people who every day use them and save so much time to access services, to go to school, to the market, and so forth and so on. And what is remarkable in this partnership is that I think over the last year, the funding that Switzerland engaged in the trail bridges was much less, considerably less than what was engaged by the Nepali government. So it's truly a project that is owned by the Nepali partners.
And
a true partnership.
It is a very true partnership that has spun over decades, not just one decade, but decades.
Yeah.
And that has built the relationship even stronger.
Yes, and the way it evolved, which was really, the way that was needed by the change in the context.
The project involving 29 local governments and, various friends, I like to go ahead and use the word friends, came together in local level, in provincial level, and federal level to make this happen. And we're still, I'm sure we're still building more as we are talking right now.
Yeah, no, definitely. But the great thing is that now the Nepali partners do it on their own. But if you look at the number of bridges that were built over the years, you see that there is a real acceleration over the last years, which were exactly the years where actually we shifted to this federal state building approach and where the engagement of the Nepali side was much bigger. So I think it's really such a good example of how to work together.
That's fantastic. How was your? I'll jump back to our earlier conversation from your home city to your home itself. How was it flying into Kathmandu in last September? How was that experience flying into Kathmandu and first time seeing the country and seeing the city that you're going to spend a good amount of time in?
Oh, and by the way, we also have a trail bridge in Fribourg, but it's not that high.
We'll try to find that.
Well, as I told you, it was my first time, but it's a long time. I've left my hometown. I've been working around for quite some years, but in different contexts. So it's my first time in South Asia. So yes, this is an exposure to a totally different culture. But I was enthusiastic from the first day on because there are so many things to be discovered, and I think the warm welcome that I received. It's just so important, and it makes life so interesting here.
And recently, when we were talking off air downstairs, I just wanted to touch base on that as well. How was it always hearing about Nepal? Right from not just from the 90s when you got into the service, but even before that, whenever you heard the word Nepal, and all the amazing things that the Swiss government has been working on right here in our country. How was it always listening about the word Nepal and the country Nepal? How was it for you?
Well, yes. So it's Nepal is really a country that has a special place in the heart of the Swiss people, and government to government, we have this excellent relationship. But it's also people to people. I mean, I guess you take someone in the street in Switzerland and you ask about Nepal, and they will maybe not say the name of Tony Hagen, but they will know about the trail bridges. So there is this very close connection. And as regards, my personal connection with Nepal, I've been hearing, since I started working at the ministry, about the cooperation program in Nepal and all the good things that were done there. So it's the biggest cooperation program of Switzerland, and it's a priority country. So I think this was really a kind of dream position to arrive in Nepal.
Well, here we are, and we're going to be doing amazing things, and you're going to be doing even more amazing things and traveling as well.
Yes, I will. I will.
How have you traveled a bit of the country already by now?
Yes, not as much as I would have liked to, but I've been twice to Koshi province already. You might know that we have quite a bit of a cooperation program that is implemented there. Yeah. And but I had the opportunity to travel up in the hills to the tea estates in the region of Ilam, and then back again to the plains. So I thought it was so interesting to see this combination of diverse landscapes. I mean, it's and then I've been in Lumbini, also traveled a bit, had the opportunity to see the birthplace of Lord Buddha. And one thing that I was lucky enough to do is to travel to Upper Arun. Well, it was by helicopter, but it's difficult to go there otherwise. And I mean, it's impressive to see the place where the hydropower plants will be built. So, and we had interactions with the communities. So yes. So for the time being, it's a bit the travel that I've managed doing. But remember, I arrived not that long ago.
Exactly, that's what I was saying. It's just been a very short span of time, but you have traveled. You've already traveled so much already. Just to touch base on this before we move on towards the projects that we work on. How was your experience being at the birthplace of Lord Buddha? How did it make you feel?
It's really moving because, you also see it's not only being there as an individual, but it's to see all the other persons that gather there. And, there is the tree, and you have monks sitting around and singing. And yeah, so it's quite a spiritual moment, I would say.
Chanting the mantras, and right sitting below that tree is one of my favorite things to do. It really calms me down, and it's one of my favorite places in the entire world to be at. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to ask you, how did it make you feel? No, that's beautiful. Can we just quickly touch base on the Swiss development projects in Nepal, and how does it align with Nepal's development goals? And especially, let's touch base on Koshi province and talk about the projects that we've been working on together. If I can start off with let's start off with, rather than starting off with federal state building, I want to start off with migration, which is definitely very close to my heart itself. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
But before that, I would just like to say that I think our goal is always to be aligned on the needs of Nepal. And now one of our major endeavors is to accompany Nepal in the graduation process from the less developed country status by 2026. And you're right, migration is a topic we've been working for quite some time with the government. And the approach is to say that for sure, it would be better to have young people finding a job in Nepal. But the reality is not that. So this will not change from today to tomorrow. So the point is, while we are working also with the authorities and the private sector to develop the private sector so that young people can find jobs here, we also support the authorities to make migration safer and also to make migration beneficial for individuals and for the society. So in terms of making migration safer, we've been supporting the government in concluding bilateral labor agreements with countries of destination. And also in providing information through the migrant resource centers to candidates to migration, telling them, what are the conditions for living abroad, what are the things you should not do, and to make sure that, not to make sure, but to reduce the risks that they would get cheated. And also offering legal counsel when things do not happen as they should, and psychosocial counseling also for the families staying behind. And another important thing is to provide some trainings so that they are skilled and they can find better jobs abroad. So this is one thing. And now we started working on the other side, on the reintegration of migrants, which is also...
Once they come back,
Yes. And this is very important because actually they get skills abroad and many of them want to come back. So it's important that they can reintegrate in their communities, that they can find a job and use the skills that they have acquired abroad. So this is something that we have started working on recently. I must say that I've met quite some members of the diaspora who came back and started a business.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. And the interesting thing is that nobody regretted to have come back
home.
No. And the example I would like to give, because I thought it was so interesting, it's a group of young men who get to know each other when they worked in South Korea, and they decided to come back and to start a business. Yeah. So it's a business of seeds and dry beans or something like that. But you see the benefits of migration.
And coming back with the skill and starting a business.
Yes, and what is important also is to find a way to channel the remittances so that it can be used productively. So having financing instruments that are conducive to the use of the remittances for investment.
And obviously from the family's perspective as well, who are staying back, did you ever get a chance to go in and meet them?
Yes. There are stories that are a bit sad at times. So that is the reason why there is legal counseling and psychosocial support also that is provided by the authorities. But on the other hand, yes, they also rely a lot on the money of the migrants. So there are definitely several perspectives to be considered. But again, this is a reality you cannot avoid considering, and I think we all have to make the best of it.
And this is, I believe, one of the stories which we'll definitely go ahead and share some more. I just want to go ahead and touch base on one of the other projects that we're working on, which is employment and definitely income. Employment is very big with us as well, right here within my network, where we definitely go ahead and try to create as many jobs as we can, because I personally want all the young team that I have and everybody to go ahead and be able to sustain a good living right here in the city, and friends across Nepal to go ahead and get a good living with employment within Nepal as well. So that's one project that we're definitely working on when it comes to Koshi province, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, we have several projects in Koshi province, but we recently launched two very interesting ones. The first one is what is called Udaya, meaning something like a revival or in Nepali. And this is a very interesting one because, well, as you mentioned, as regards employment, it's important for the startups, for somebody who would like to start a business or to grow a business, to be able to have access to credit.
Yeah.
And there are several problems. And one first problem is that, well, and you said with your friends you would like to find a job or to start something. Something I was struck by is that in Nepal, people are entrepreneurial. I mean, you have lots of ideas, but then maybe the thing that are missing is the technical skills or the accounting skills and this and that. So what is important is that startup enterprises can have access to business development services, meaning before you get a loan, you get some guidance about how to develop the business plan, how to make a market analysis and so forth and so on. So it is assistance in order to have a bankable project. And then you get access to credit, and then there are other business development services, meaning marketing, accounting, etc., how to access market, how to package, and so forth and so on. So this is one thing, and this is not that much developed in some parts of Nepal. So the idea is also to try to develop that. But then it's also the access to credit. And here, the startups and the SMEs, they are falling in the missing link, meaning that their financing needs are too much to be covered by the microfinance institutions, but it's then too big. The commercial banks, are a bit hesitating. They think the risk is too high, so they don't want to lend. It's also because the commercial banks do not know how to assess the risk. So the idea is to reduce the risk and to provide a guarantee. So the provincial government will set up a risk guarantee mechanism, and so the risk will be reduced, and it will hopefully foster loans to SMEs. And we are working with the Koshi governments on these several aspects.
And also, as we're talking about this as well, again, when it comes to going ahead and supporting SMEs, I believe digital empowerment is also a big chunk of that. Definitely needs to go ahead and be able to provide them skills when it comes to the digital age as well, which is definitely going to go ahead and support them in that aspect as well. And I'm sure Ministry of Economic Affairs and Planning, along with all the support that the Swiss people are providing as well, is definitely going to go ahead and enhance the SMEs along that line as well.
Yes, we also started a project that is not restricted to the Koshi province. It's called Digi Nepal. And this is precisely to co-invest, to co-create with startups and that would use digital technologies to provide services for Nepali customers. So yes, and here again, I think there are the ideas, but you need, here and there to help a bit for the engine to start.
Your Excellency, I'll touch base on something slightly different. Obviously, you've got a PhD in International Economics and Trade, so I definitely have to go ahead and touch base just a little bit on this. I'll pick your brain on this. I was reading up a little bit about Switzerland itself, right? And there's 1 billionaire per 80,000 people, and the mean net worth is basically $685,000 and above when it comes to every Swiss citizen, right? So it got me thinking this morning, and I was just doing a bit of my homework. We both come from landlocked countries, if I'm not mistaken. We both definitely have our pros and I'm sure some cons as well. One of the things that every time I think of Switzerland is politically neutral, politically very stable country. The stability part is something that's the key for a prosperous nation when it comes to being economically stable, Your Excellency?
Yes. Yes, I would say that political stability is a great asset in the sense that the private sector does not like unpredictability, and political instability equates with unpredictability. So this is certainly something very important if you want to position your country as a good location to do business. But there are other things also, and I would say the openness of the economy is also very, very important. Switzerland is a small economy, and we used to say that we earn 1 Swiss franc on 2 abroad, meaning that trade and investments are such a big share of our economy, and you have to be open because it fosters competition, and then you get better.
The challenge is looking at it from far. What are the few challenges that you see that we could actually work on in a very short period of time, let's say a decade, which is not a long period of time, which is a short period of time. That's how I'll keep it. To leapfrog, to go ahead and jump, to be able to go ahead and get our GDP up, to go ahead and get our imports down, and definitely try to go ahead and get our exports up. Maybe what suggestion, even just as a friend, anything that you want to go ahead and share to me that we could work on. I'm just tapping into your knowledge and your experience.
Thank you for asking. The first thing to recognize, I think, is that Nepal has made huge strides over the last decades. It's, you could say, okay, it's slow, but on the other hand, as my predecessor would have said, it depends where you set the baseline. And I very much agree on that. And when you think that the new constitution is 2015, this new constitution is absolutely great, because your country and my country, we know that it's to have a federal state is the only way to live together in peace. So but then it's not easy to implement it. And it's quite recent for Nepal, 2015, and then, the earthquake and COVID, and so it's not that many years when things have been, I would say, normal. So if you look, the progress has been tremendous. Now, as I said, I think it's important because now Nepal wants to graduate, and basically, yes, they are not even a decade, because the objective is in 2026. So. But on the other hand, it's one of the last emerging markets. So there is a lot of potential, to position the country in the region as the best place to do business. But for this, political stability, reforms to improve the business climate. We are also supporting the authorities on that, really to help the foreign investors, because transfer of knowledge will be very important. So foreign investors are interested, but it's important to show them that the risk is not too high and that there can be a good return. And I think there are good assets in terms of the sector of IT. There is so much creativity, and I have the impression, it's not an impression, it's pretty sure that in many respects on IT, in Nepal you are more advanced than in Switzerland. So, QR code and this, or
we'll take it.
or maybe, I'm especially bad at that, but here I've learned to do QR payments and this and that, which I never did before. So the thing is, the IT sector is, and then there are plenty of other sectors which are great opportunities. But what Switzerland did in the past, it's really, and we continue to do, is to invest in human capital. And it is the only way. It's the wealth that we have is the human capital. So it's important to train people. And you mentioned the fact that we have billionaires in Switzerland. So linked to the education system, I like to give this example because here you know that we work a lot with the authorities in improving the system of technical vocational education and training, TVET. And like to say that in Switzerland, you know, we have 80% of the students who would choose this path, and it's not because they are not able to go to university. No, it's because they know that they will get a job and a well-paid job. And an example that I like to give is the CEO of UBS. You know, it's the Swiss bank, one of the biggest in the world. So the CEO of UBS started as an apprentice in a bank.
Exactly.
And last year, do you know how much he earned?
No, ma'am.
$14 million a year. It's not bad for an apprentice, no?
Definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah. So, well, political stability, openness, investing in human capital, improving the business climate, these are things, I mean, that are within reach.
What's your take? I definitely don't want to touch base on politics too much. I'll just ask one very simple question. What's your perspective when it comes to having a visionary leader? Having a visionary leader, thinking not just short-sightedly, but thinking very far-sightedly. Decades of economic growth. I'll just talk about economic growth because that's something that I'm personally interested in. That's why, and that's your forte as well. So, just thinking of the economic growth and just moving towards that. The perspective of having a visionary leader. What's your perspective along that line?
Well, that's a difficult question. Would you have a perspective on that?
When I look at various different countries all across the world, I could definitely go ahead and name a few countries where there've definitely been visionary leaders who've worked towards an economic growth and worked decades for that, right? Earlier, I definitely touched base on the amount of mean net worth of a single individual. I would love to go ahead and see a Nepali citizen going ahead and definitely having that net worth grow in a span of a few years or in a span of a few decades, right? So the leadership, I'll just touch base on this one more time. Having a very political, stable, as well as very strong leadership who has vision towards working towards the economic aspect of the country.
I don't know, you know. Well, if I take Switzerland, you know, we have a kind of government which is a consensus-based government, and where actually you would think there is no space for an individual having leadership, you know. And in spite of that, we have a very efficient system, a pragmatic system, very efficient. But it's all also about, you know, taking decisions about consensus, and then these decisions are implemented. But it's not really about, you know, having a vision. And so I think it's quite a difficult one.
To have a meaningful system then that works.
I think the system is the fact that the system works is very important. But something also that I would like to mention in relation with the governance and also the challenges that we face now in the world is the importance of having a multilateral system that functions, you know, because now there is kind of backlash against globalization, a backlash against multilateralism. But countries, you mentioned, yes, we are landlocked countries. We are, countries similar in many ways. And also we are, I think, strong believers in the rule-based order of multilateralism, because we know that for smaller countries, this is the best way to be part of the decision-making.
And a well-oiled machine as well, to have it so well-oiled that it works automatically for the benefit of the common citizen. And that's something that it's definitely going to go ahead and take some hits and some misses to go ahead and get to perfection, I believe. It's just a matter of time. There's a saying which I don't think I'm sure you've heard this before. There's a saying in Nepal that when it comes to our landscape, we're no different than Switzerland. We have a very similar landscape. That's something that have you heard that before?
Yeah.
How does it make you feel whenever you go to outside this city, not just this city, but outside this city?
It makes me feel very proud.
Very at home as well, slightly.
Yeah, and very proud because actually your mountains are so much higher than ours, But but something interesting that I've noticed, maybe everybody knows that, but still, when you fly over Nepal, then you see that villages are up on the hill, at the top. And it is the same in Switzerland. And it's because it's to protect yourself against landslide. So you build on the top. So it's exactly the same. And if you look at the way houses are built up on the hills and in the mountains, you see it's the same because the material is the same, the vernacular way of building. So yes, there are many similarities, definitely, but everything is bigger and more impressive in Nepal.
No, that's very kind of you. I heard you were recently in Patan as well. If I'm Patan and the surrounding areas as well, right nearby here. Mm-hmm. The historic essence of the city. How does that make you feel whenever you walk around, whenever you travel?
Oh, it's amazing. I had the privilege to see the ceremony with the chariot.
Oh, beautiful!
Yeah. This was really so impressive. No, and the old city, the urban square, and then the small streets. It's at the same time so lively and so full of history. And the mix of temples of Buddhist, Hindus, and it's really it's impressive, and there are so many colors. It's artful, the way it's so colorful. Yeah.
The way you said,
yes.
There you go, beautiful.
Yeah.
Wasn't that gorgeous?
Yeah.
And the color. Well, again, I've realized you love color, that amazing chariot that we have. Beautiful, amazing. One of the specific things that I wanted to talk about, since we're in this topic, climate change is something that's affecting us, and that is definitely going to go ahead and change the landscape of this planet if we don't act on it as soon as possible. We definitely are. I believe at least we are, and there's many more things that we could still do. When it comes to our projects, are there any specific projects that we're working on catered to climate change?
Well, our approach up until now has been rather to work, to integrate climate change considerations within the project. For instance, in Tibet, we've been working on trainings for, reparation of electric vehicles, for instance. But we are now starting to do more on climate change, and I was not long ago invited at an event organized in the context of a Swiss finance project. We supported the development of, the replacement of fuel irrigation pumps, water pumps for irrigation by solar pumps. And we are working with the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, and the authorities also to improve the early warning systems, to make sure that the infrastructure like hydropower that will be built are resistant to disaster related to climate change, and this is very important because you have to develop the methodology for that, and there is some willingness on our part to work on that, and there is also Swiss expertise that can be very useful. And we are also considering working with the Nepalese partner on improving air quality.
Yeah, that is, Your Excellency, that is something that we could definitely go ahead and I personally want to go ahead and see our air quality getting better and better rather than getting worse in the coming years.
Yeah.
We got to number one position, which was the position that we didn't want to get at all. Yeah. And I don't think we ever want to go ahead and go back to that. So that's one specific place where we definitely require a lot of help and a lot of expertise as well. Sustainable forest management, too, tying up with a fantastic organization like Doko Recyclers. We've been slightly following that as well, and there are many things that we could still do. Some more things we could do together. Yeah.
Definitely, and two more things on climate change. I was quite impressed also by the role that Nepal took, on the international stage. I mean, Nepal participated in the COP28 in Dubai with its own pavilion. Drawing attention, raising the awareness of all of the participants to the specific challenges of an Himalayan country. So I think there is a big advocacy role, and the visit of the UN Secretary General in November last year also was a milestone, I would say. Mm-hmm. You mentioned Doko, yes, and something I would like to add is that as regards reducing the carbon footprint at the embassy, we're walking the talk. We have a Green Embassy plan. And we started with quite many initiatives already. We have installed solar panels so that we are self-sufficient for the electricity, but we are also recycling water, using grey water for irrigation, and we have many other initiatives in the pipeline. And as the residents, I would like to mention that I have a vegetable garden, and I have 2 hens also.
You got 2 hens as well, along with Paul?
If you have, yes, and if you have IDs, nicknames for them, because they still don't have. But they are very nice, they lay eggs every day. So,
fresh eggs?
Yeah, fresh. I hope they are fresh.
Where fresh eggs every day? That's awesome. Where did you get the hens from?
From my chef.
Okay, no, that's perfect.
And you see, yes, definitely. We work with Doko on recycling, yes, and it's now we're starting with a monthly challenge for the staff. This month it was about reducing the consumption of meat. So we'll have it's to raise awareness also about what it means to reduce the carbon footprint.
That's awesome. And Your Excellency, in your vegetable garden, what are the vegetables you have?
All kind of vegetables.
That's amazing. So rich in we definitely earlier when we were looking at your hometown and touched base on the cathedral as well, and the art and culture is very big in Switzerland itself. And last time when I was talking to Her Excellency as well, she was sharing with me all the pieces of art that she has, and I just wanted to touch base on the art and culture that you've experienced in a short span of time here in Nepal. Any specific context of preserving the heritage of the Himalayan arts, and anything specific that we're working on for the next generation of artists? Anything you want to go ahead and say in the preservation of art and culture?
Yes, before coming to what we specifically do, I must say I was impressed by the dynamism of the art scene here in Kathmandu since I arrived. I mean, I've been already invited to so many exhibitions and concerts, and so there are many art galleries and places for playing music, and the artists are so good. So we have an arts and culture program at the embassy, where actually we supported already for quite many years young Nepali artists, and not only in Kathmandu but in all parts of the country, because I think it's always important to remember that arts and culture should not be capital centric in any country. I mean, it's always a challenge. So, and now we are working to try to systematize a bit the support by developing a long-term partnership with some partners, where we could also work, I mean, in trainings and providing, workshops and art residency to young people. So we will select longer-term partners in 3 different media. So there will be photography, and movies, and the third one I forgot about. It is still in the making. That's why I'm not aware of everything. So yes, so this is, and we've been supporting, as I said, many punctual activities, and one that I would like to mention, because you mentioned the architecture, about preserving heritage. I mean, you have already some monuments and part of the cities that are under the UNESCO World Heritage protection. But something that we sponsored, and which was quite interesting, is the exhibition organized at the Tarragon next. It was months ago, and it was organized by a group of architects, the Kathmandu Institute, and it was about the architecture in the valley from 1945 to 1985. So, I mean, they are wonderful buildings. Yeah. So, if you think of Nepal, you immediately think about the stupas and the temples and the Durbar squares, but there are also wonderful pieces of later architecture, of modern architecture. And this is about recognizing that this is also part of the heritage. And this was absolutely wonderful. So you have buildings like the Tarragon Museum itself, but also the Naryaniti Palace. And I guess maybe this house would be a part of the...
Slightly.
Yes, I guess so. And I was also very proud to see that there was one Swiss architect who was part of the architects that worked during that time. And this is his name is Robert Weise, and he built designed the Annapurna Hotel and the Tribune Campus Library, I think.
I'd like to show you something since we are in this topic. It just crossed my mind right now. X, do me a favor and Google the skate park that we have right down here. And it was done by a couple of Swiss friends, working along with our Nepali friends right here to skate. Yeah, there you go. It's called a pump track.
Wow.
And this was constructed not far from here. Go back, guys, and show the full once pump track completed cycle pump track. Open that video right there. And
where is that?
It's right here, ma'am. It's not far from here. It must be, let's say, 10-minute walk from here. Talago त्यो video खोजा त उ त्यो cycle pump track भनेर अझ लेफ्टमा त्यो चाहिँ खोला त. There you go. It's right here in Lalitpur itself. and I'll share more details of the friends who worked on it. And obviously, it might not be a humongous project, but this is something that young kids come in and play, and it was done by.
That's nice.
Only better videos of it, wasn't? I guess. And
that's interesting. Yeah.
And we're building one in. It's already completed. There's another one. Well, there you go. That's open a video, guys.
Combining sports and architecture.
Exactly. So we definitely.
Who is this one?
That one. Oops, that one's ads. Well, there you go. That's the final one.
That's nice. Yeah.
Right. अनि यसको त्यो डिटेल गर न हाम्रो शोमै आउनु भएको थियो नि हैन उहाँ पनि मैले उहाँको नाम मैले छट्ट बिर्सेँ मैले हैन Your Excellency, you've been to Davos, and I'll just touch base on this a little bit. Right now, there is a big conversation happening. The budget is about to be released in a few weeks, and startup. The government definitely is looking towards supporting the startup culture and supporting friends who want to go ahead and start businesses. I just touch base on this. Empowering startups as well as providing them skills, and also this make in Nepal or made in Nepal, however we say it, right? That's pretty big with us here as well. Of course, financial literacy classes are definitely being provided by the Embassy of Switzerland. What more could we definitely go ahead and do in the future? I'm just talking about in future. What more could we do to go ahead and support the startup culture of Nepal? And also anything specifically to supporting friends who are working towards Make in Nepal?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first thing, as I said, it's probably to foster also the culture of when you have an idea, you cannot develop it fully on your own. So you need to be professional and to pay to get, as I said, business development services. So I think this is one thing. But then it's more about reducing the red tape, having a business environment that is conducive for if you want to start a business, so you don't lose too much time, to get the business registered, to get the permits and this and that. So this is definitely something that is very important. And then the access to credit, it's really about designing in financial products, as I said, that answer to the needs. And often the needs, you want to get a credit, but you are asked to have a collateral. But you don't have it because, you started your business and you don't have a house and this and that. So it's important to have then a loan, but maybe the collateral is something different. Yeah. Maybe the collateral could be, I don't know, remittances, flows, or I don't know what. But it's important to be creative in this respect and to help to reduce the risk. Now, what is interesting is that we are working also, the Switzerland is working on trying to attract more foreign investment in the country and also investment that we call impact investment, from development finance institutions that actually are ready to invest or support maybe startup or small and medium enterprises in Nepal, knowing that they will take a bit more risk than usual and maybe get a return that is a bit less than usual. But they know that they will get other kind of returns, maybe in terms of social inclusion or in terms of reduction of climate change. And this is very important because this will also increase the diversity of financing instruments available in Nepal. And in this respect, we created a platform which is called Invest for Impact Nepal.
Invest for Impact Nepal.
And this platform is a way, for development finance institutions like the Swiss one, CIFEM, or the UK, Dutch, to come together and to better understand the challenges of the Nepalese context. We organized a mission. It was just before the investment summit. And this was quite a success because there were 30 representatives of 14 of these development financed institutions who came to Nepal to better understand the potential and the challenges of the market and to meet partners from the private sector, from the government sector, and so to see what kind of investments could be done. And very interestingly, the Swiss Development Finance Institution, CIFEM, concluded its second transaction in Nepal. It's a loan to Global IME Bank, and it will be specifically dedicated to small and medium enterprises.
And what's your take on the investment summit? And now looking forward towards the next investment summit, any suggestions? Anything that you want to go ahead and anything that you want to go ahead and add towards that?
Yeah, I know I don't have suggestions, but I thought this was impressive. I attended the 2 days of the summit. Lots of people coming, I think many more than what was expected, but showing that it's a great success. And I thought the logistics were fine. And the summit had good traction in the sense that I've seen that the government adopted several reforms which had been long advocated by the private sector, the international community. So it's good that it served this purpose. And it will be interesting to see if there will be concrete results out of that. I mean, the topic was infrastructure, so it was also targeted to certain kind of enterprises, but there is so much potential for infrastructure in Nepal that I think it can only be such a summit can only be a success also in terms of raising awareness to the potential.
What other aspects that you go ahead and see from your point of view that we could definitely excel on? I'll give you an example. One definitely would be tourism. If you had to add a few more?
Well, tourism, IT, fintech. No, I mean it's and then well, it makes already because I mean IT and fintech. If you think it goes across all sectors. I mean, so it means you can really touch upon all the different kind of sectors. But there is also a lot of hydropower for sure, and the production of energy, renewable energy, and exporting this energy is certainly a great source of revenue. Yeah. But apart from that, I think also that in agriculture there are several niche products that can be of high value added. You know that we worked in the past, and we are I think still working on the promoting large cardamom. Or do we say big cardamom?
Both. Both along those lines. Along those lines.
Yeah. And this is a unique product where Nepal has a comparative advantage. So there are several of these products, and again Nepal also has the unique brand. I mean, Nepal is Nepal. You just mentioned that there is all the it's a dream.
Well, not all the mountains, but we definitely have the mountains, and The thing is, just this more earlier I was sharing with you, right? Every evening I think of Switzerland when I go out, and I'm lucky enough to go out and get a bite of a Swiss chocolate once in a while, or a Swiss dark chocolate once in a while. Anything that we could export to Switzerland, that would be something that our friends in Switzerland would love to go out and have. Anything that we could export.
Well, you already export textile garments. There are several several brands that are already exported in Switzerland. I think some felt products also, and and the pashmina. So yes, there is, and there is also very often you see. The other day I received. Yeah, the funny thing is that I received chocolate from a guest from Switzerland, and when I opened it, I read that it was actually black dark chocolate with salt from the Himalayas. So you see,
that's even better. One thing, I come slightly from the cinema background, Your Excellency. I've been lucky enough to be able to be a part of a few movies. And definitely we want to go ahead and make a few more movies down the road.
Are you offering me a role or no?
Game on. We're there. We'd love to have you play a part in it. Would you be open to that?
I'll ask my agent.
Done. There's a specific person from the Indian cinema industry who used to make movies, who still makes movies, whose organization still makes movies in Switzerland, and he made Switzerland, him and his team, to be precise, made Switzerland very popular with the Indian within friends from India. His name was Yashraj Chopra. So show any picture or anything from Yashraj movies back in the day, in the 90s, and. Now, I'm sure somebody who is watching this, maybe not now, we might not have the budget, but maybe down the road, we'd love to go ahead and film cinemas in Switzerland, and definitely friends from Switzerland who would want to come over to Nepal and film movies. That would be one thing that I'm just thinking of, right? Yeah. Well, there you go. And there's a statue of Yash Chopra in, I don't know where exactly this is in Switzerland, but it says Switzerland salutes Yash Chopra, showcasing the country's beauty in his movies back in the day. I definitely wouldn't know all the places where Yash Chopra and they filmed movies, but very popular. I believe a lot of places within Switzerland, right? And I'm sure friends from. I'm just thinking of aspects where. People could definitely go ahead and we could work on collaborations in cinema, in art, and culture within a lot of, I'll add on another specific thing, a lot of young friends who are travel vloggers would definitely be coming to Nepal, and we could do probably a cross-border where we could definitely go ahead and send a few travel vloggers or digital friends who use digital medium to go ahead and promote different countries. Maybe that aspect, we could definitely work on that aspect as well. How? What do you think of ideas along this line?
That is an excellent idea, and as I said before, we are working on trying to be a bit more systematized and long-term in our cultural projects. And I mentioned the movie that I mentioned, rather documentary, but definitely I could imagine, some exchanges in this respect. No, I think we are open to any good suggestions.
And I would be happy to go ahead and see Nepali cinema being filmed there, and Swiss cinema. I'm sure there are tons of Swiss movies being made as well, being filmed here in Nepal as well. That's going to be something great to go ahead and see. Exchange of along that line as well. Mm-hmm. New ideas popping up constantly in the podcast as well, maybe, and you can go ahead and play a role once we sign off with your agent, who probably is smiling downstairs right now. Your Excellency, travel plans, anything in the bucket list that you want to go ahead and tick off in Nepal or in the coming years?
Oh. I would like to travel around Nepal, the all 7 provinces, and but yes, now I'm about to leave for some holidays in Switzerland because I have trainings and conference there to attend. So it means the whole month of June will not be dedicated to traveling in Nepal, but I would like to trek also because it's part of the culture. I am not the one who will go, for a 14 days trek, but looking forward to go trekking. And I've heard a lot about Mustang, but I would also like to go. The Sudar Pashim, and every part of Nepal, I guess, is fascinating. And, something that is so beautiful, and I would like if it's the same everywhere in Nepal is the sunset. When you see this red ball or circle in the sky, it's wonderful, no?
Yeah, it definitely is.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you think of our momo, by the way?
I love them. Yeah.
Yeah? Do you like it with soup, or do you like the momos just by itself?
By itself, it's okay. You prefer it with soup?
I'll take you for jhol momos. They're called jhol momos, and another specific momos as well. And our thakali, have you tried that yet? Our thakali are...
I might have, but the thing is I'm so bad with names.
The dal bhat?
Yeah.
You've tried that?
Yeah.
You like it?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. There is a Nepali kanaset.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Good, Your Excellency. I definitely want to go ahead and thank you for your time. And this is the first time we're sitting. And your tenure is you still have a good amount of time in Nepal. How long is the tenure for?
4 years.
Oh, well. Then we're definitely going to be doing movies then, for sure.
Mm-hmm. So again, thanks a lot for inviting me. This is another sign of the warm welcome that I received, but I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time, and looking forward to having you here again. And there are going to be many, many things that we'll be working on. You'll be working here, and I'd love to go ahead and hear about it and share it with the audience. Before we let you go, anything specific you want to go ahead and say to friends within Nepal and friends around the world who are listening to us?
Yes, that I'm so glad to be here in Nepal. That it's a great experience, and I'm looking forward to traveling around Nepal to meet all the people I haven't met so far. But it's a wonderful country, and I'm very proud to represent Switzerland in Nepal.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and do pass my love to Paul as well.
Yes, I will.
Thank you so much. Awesome, perfect.
Vyas Media Network.